Welcome to the Car Guys and welcome to the Ferrari Monza SP2 at the Fiorano Test Track. That's right, you're coming along for the ride, but I'm getting to drive this car for the first time. Here I am at Universo Ferrari, and yes, I've been granted an exclusive actual test drive of the Monza SP2. So little old me on this little old car show known as the Car Guys is actually going to drive an SP2 on the Fiorano Test Track. Now that, my friends, is a very, very good day. I cannot believe that I am going to be allowed to drive this car in the heart of Ferrari. So this is the first of the Icona series. It is the most desirable Ferrari currently in production, and I am going to be able to drive that car at Fiorano, and you are coming along with me.
We are going on track. You will have Reno with you on your side.
Okay.
You will have the helmet on, and the suggestion is also use your glasses because of the wind. First time for you here.
I've never been on the track in a car.
Idea is making 4 laps. The last lap will be cooling down the car. The car will cool down for the entire lap.
Welcome to the Car Guys. So here we go then, this is really happening. I'm sitting in a £1.5 million Icona Ferrari and being led through some tight roads past Enzo Ferrari's old house on the way to the Fiorano Test Track. The stuff of legends for the Car Guys. Stop-start, hasn't it? This is it, lap 1, my first drive on the hallowed Fiorano circuit, and can you believe it, it's in Ferrari's most exciting modern masterpiece, the stunning Monza SP2. I've got 5 laps of this historic track, and my aim is to tell you all exactly how this car behaves and what it's like to drive. I'm not holding anything back, and I'm going to show you 3 of these laps in their entirety so that you too can see just how magical this place is. I've never driven this circuit before, so I'm going to take it easy and build up speed, as you should at all circuits. So right now, I'll cut to lap 2 where I start to build up some confidence. I've got some heat in the tyres now, and I've memorised the simple layout of Fiorano, so it's time to pick up the pace. Headline figures, 2.9 seconds 0 to 60, 800 brake horsepower delivered at 8,500 RPM, from that 812 derived 6.5 litre V12 engine. The first thing to note is that the SP2 is a complete pussycat to drive. Not in the slightest bit intimidating, you just jump in and immediately feel at home. It's just like a big 458 Italia. The layout and body shell is inspired by the 166 Monzas and Testarossas of the 50s. Ferrari's completely nailed the looks in my opinion. It looks like no other car and it's so sleek and elegant. I really cannot hear that glorious engine though through the helmet and above the wind noise, which is a bit of a shame. Out of these slow corners I can smell melted tyres and brakes, and I suspect Monzas are more cruisers than out and out track weapons. Body roll is minimal, it corners flat, there's no tyre squeal, you just open up the steering and go. And this is the real ballsy corner here. You've got to take your heart in your mouth and just hope that the car grips as you then squeeze the accelerator on the way out. One thing you do notice is the wind noise and the huge turbulence, because there's no windscreen at all. The virtual windshield appears to have little or no effect. My eyes are being shaken out of their sockets as I approach this first tight right-hander after the main straight at 130 miles an hour, and the buffeting is severe. Visibility is of course incredible with no A-pillars to obscure the view ahead, and you don't even notice the length of the bonnet or the hood. The steering is light and never weights up to a great degree, so it's a doddle to place it on the track and to negotiate the numerous tight turns. Paddles and dials are pure 812 superfast, a little disappointing. You'd want something a bit more bespoke, I reckon. Tremendous traction out of the corners, and the only time I sense the wheels spinning is as I hit a bump on the bridge before the blind off-camber right-hander. Its nose tucks into the corners easily with no understeer, throttle response is instant, as you'd expect from a naturally aspirated V12. It actually feels like a lower, flatter, chop-top F12 TDF. There could be no bigger compliment than that. There's huge power here as you'd expect, with a V12 tweaked to 800 brake horsepower, but the lack of a windscreen makes it feel even faster. The brakes are strong, not challenged at Arle strong, but still enough to stop the SP2's 1900 kilogram weight. You can see the hazard warning lights flashing here to indicate heavy braking and show how hard I'm trying. Shot here of me driving, just to prove that I'm actually doing the driving, in case you thought I'd got some Ferrari test driver to do the footage. And then as we clear the bridge, full on the power, straight past the pits again, and now we're into a new lap. Down the main straight, past the pits, and down to the first fairly tight right-hander. You can see the braking board here, so brake at 50, hard on the brakes, take it late, ride that apex all the way around. Now pressing the throttle, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. You can see it's a gradual right-hander here, and then it tightens suddenly with cones to indicate the turning points. But you've got an immediate right, then tight left. Car's starting to wash out a little bit to the right, but actually it's being kept in check by that flat body roll. This corner in particular is very difficult, so you can see here, whoa, almost go wide there, but managed to pull in at the last minute. Over this bump here, that's where the car goes light and you often lose traction. Now we're at a blind bend with a right-hander, very easy for a car to understeer at this point and wash off down there to the barriers, but you can see the SP2 coping with it perfectly. So you're at high speed here, hard on the brakes, wait, tuck in, then up to the left, let it run wide and press full on the throttle. Now you're full on the throttle now, full power, full power, full power. Let the car run up to the white line and towards this bend. Here it's utterly scary. You don't know where the track's going and you don't know whether to take this corner at full speed and whether you're going to get enough traction to go around the corner. So that's 4 laps done. The 5th is a cool down lap. To be honest, I'm shaking with adrenaline and the weight of the occasion. It's exceptionally rare to get Fiorano to yourself, and even more so in Ferrari's latest, rarest, most special limited edition car. Hopefully this has been useful and given you a front row seat in one of the most iconic and special Ferraris ever created. It's time to pass under the bridge one final time and peel off to the right, park up and take you through the features of the Monza SP2.
How was it, sir?
It was excellent, fantastic.
Very good.
Really good.
I could hear the engine going up pretty quickly. Was feeling like you were pushing quite hard.
Well, a little bit. I mean, it's my first time on that track, so
Okay.
I couldn't go too much.
But it's not your first track experience, right?
I've done a little bit of track, but nothing serious. So that's it. I've just driven an SP2 on the Fiorano test track. It's unbelievable. The first time that I've ever been on this track. Make no mistake, this is a fearsome Ferrari. So let me give you a tour around this car. I mean, the bonnet is enormous. No getting away from it. This is a huge car. If you look at the pictures or footage of me in the car, there's this little tiny diddy head sat all the way back there, and you've got this enormous bonnet which perfectly suits a historical stripe. I mean, as you can see here, the livery this is, it's going to really suit having a long stripe all the way down the bonnet. So this is going to be perfect for that. So it opens up so many possibilities. Aggressive front grille, so that's going to attract and eviscerate birds and pigeons and squirrels. The stance and the width of the thing, I mean, look at it. Look at the width. I mean, look at it. The road presence that this car has is extraordinary. But you can see you've got carbon skirts around the side. You've also got this little detail here, so you've got some venting here from the engine, all nicely in carbon. There's your indicator LEDs, 21-inch wheels, 315/30s on the rear, quad tailpipes, carbon fibre as you can see. So the rear section lifts up and you've got a reasonable sized boot, but it's fairly shallow. Look at all that, look at all the carbon though, look. Look at that, all carbon. All carbon. Light system going all the way around the back of the car. Just look at that view. So the view through the cockpit and then down to the front of the bonnet. I mean, it is a proper 1950s Ferrari 250 Testarossa view. You've got decent sized mirrors here, which is fine, but then you also have a rear view mirror just there on the center carbon spine. And that gives you a good view through this Perspex rear piece. This area here is to interrupt the airflow and to cause it to fly up over your head or not buffet you quite as much. The wind noise when you're over 200 kilometers an hour it's awful. It really does blow you into your face, so you're definitely going to need a helmet or proper thick goggles to be able to drive this car. And then internal wise, this car's got tan leather inserts. You've got quite a lot of carbon in here, carbon on the back, racing harness obviously, and you're going to get a bespoke race suit and helmets. And the cockpit area itself, you have this sort of quite disappointing area here. It's full of all your buttons, but it's quite plasticky and badly adorned, so there might be some interesting options that you can do with that. There's the sheath for the little key, so even the Monza doesn't escape from having a sheath. And the steering wheel is fairly standard, sort of 812 Superfast really, and instruments the same. And then to open the car, you pull open this toggle here and it comes up like that. Thanks for watching this episode of The Car Guys on the Monza SP2 first drive. Please subscribe, leave likes, we do read them all and we do appreciate it. There'll be another Car Guys episode along next week.